Hello and welcome to the podcast of no particular name. The day is Wednesday, March 8th, and today I am joined by my co-host and guest speaker, Mariano Rodriguez, here to discuss how we measure, or cannot measure, intelligence. Let's get into it. First, what's your take on it?
I feel intelligence can't be quantified, at least not in a traditional sense. I mean, think about it. Humans are pretty much the exception to the rule. We're kind of weird because human intelligence can span a wide gamut of things. You can be skilled at something, right? That's some manner of intelligence.
Yeah.
Can you play an instrument? Well, that's some form of intelligence. What I'm getting at here is that I think all efforts to quantify intelligence are in vain. Although, because obviously, I think the elephant in the room is IQ testing, right? I feel IQ testing is ineffectual, at least to get the complete picture.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too, that a lot of people, whenever you get A's and you understand things in school, it's like, oh, you're so smart, but I really don't feel particularly more intelligent than somebody. Like, I don't think I'm very socially intelligent in a lot of cases. The classic computer nerd isn't very good in social situations. Who would have guessed? But there is an intelligence in thousands of different fields. And I think that everyone has an equal level of intelligence, but in different areas.
Yeah.
So putting an IQ number to it really doesn't do it justice. Given enough time, anybody could learn anything, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my thoughts on it.
Yeah, to put it in a sports analogy, gaining knowledge is like training for cross country. You're going to suck at first, and you're going to have to keep doing it every day, whether you like it or not. But once you get past over the hill, things become easier. There's actually a very specific name for this. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
I've heard of that.
And actually, funnily enough, this is extremely common amongst programmers who think they're the to put it colloquially, the shit. They're the shit, yeah. And actually, I think wisdom, which is yet another form of intelligence, wisdom, at least in my opinion, is being able to perceive the world for what it is. If you're wise, then I think you will definitely be able to tell when you know nothing, definitely be able to tell when you know a lot, but there's still a lot to learn. And actually, I will say if you're really wise, you will never be satisfied, because there is always a little bit more to learn.
Who said it? It's like, the more I learn, the less I know.
Yeah, that's a fantastic quote, and I think that illustrates the Dunning-Kruger effect perfectly.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I feel like knowledge... I'm sure you're familiar with Sisyphus,
yes.
A man who was cursed to roll a boulder up a hill, only for it to roll down once it reached the top.
Eternally.
I feel like learning is kind of like that.
Yeah.
You might learn a lot, and you'll get to the top of, well, like what you're learning of. And then you look up, and you realize you still have further to go.
I think I've been talking a lot about this guy lately, but one of my programming heroes, John Carmack. So I'm reading this book called Masters of Doom, which is about the founders of id Software, John Romero and John Carmack, and how they made a game and basically a whole genre and pop culture movement. And John Carmack was he was the main engine developer of the game. So he had to make all like the physics, and this is more so, I know you gotta get this stuff, but for the audience, he had to make like all the physics and how the textures were processed and all the graphics and all the background
and
stuff.
I might add, he had to do this back when computers had the equivalent processing power of a potato.
Exactly. He had to optimize the crap out of his game so that it would run fast on the terrible hardware. And he had to implement all these different things, different innovations in computing that would make his ultimate product a better game engine. And, he pushed the boundaries back in the 90s, early 90s to the 2000s. And now he's working with Oculus, I think. He's pushing VR technology still. There's still so much more to go.
So where are you going with this?
I guess even the greatest among us are still learning. We may never truly be knowledgeable, but learning is important. So instead, I think we should focus on expanding our intellectual horizons, even if, like I said, we may never truly be enlightened.
I think that's part of the fun of it.
That's all the time we've got today. Thank you for joining me, Mariano. That's all, folks. Good night and take care.